Hi, Mr. Post. I want to thank you so much for the time today that you've given me. I really appreciate the opportunity to learn more about your business and to talk to you about some very new and exciting ways in which we're going to be able to partner together. I think you'll find that these opportunities, the things we're going to talk about today, are going to generate new opportunities. They're also going to generate additional revenue streams for your company, which is going to help sustain the long-term viability of your organization. So to get us started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the name on the board of 3 companies. I'm going to swap out my markers first. All right, and as I'm putting down these names, I want you to think about these companies. I've written Kodak, I've written Blockbusters, and I've written Borders. So as we think about these companies, what I want you to do is just kind of think about what they once were and what they are today. These companies at one point in time were industry leaders, they were market leaders, they were companies we admired, possibly companies we wanted to work for. But as we think about these companies today, we think about them in the past. And unfortunately, that is what is going on with them. These companies have become completely irrelevant. They have become obsolete. So if we ask ourselves, why did that happen? There are a number of reasons, I'm sure, why that happened. But the primary driver is that these companies fail to keep up with the consumption behavior, the consumption model for their customers. As that was changing, how their products, their services, their goods were being consumed was changing, and they quite simply did not keep up. The result, they're irrelevant, they're obsolete. We think about them in the past. So now let's talk about your industry. Let's talk about what we see going on within your world. And as we look at your world, what we're also going to talk about today is the fact that there is a shift. There is a change that is going on. And for companies such as yourselves who do not keep up, you run the risk of becoming irrelevant and obsolete. And we do not want that to happen to you. So let's draw your value chain. Let's draw your buying model as it exists today. And that buying model is actually pretty straightforward. We have an OEM, you have an original equipment manufacturer, so somebody out there who is making the boxes and the software. We've got routers, we've got servers, we've got software. That is then sold to you, you as the VAR. And then you have customers. You have end customers, and you'll have to pardon the stick figures. Picasso has nothing to worry about from me. But you have end customers that you are ultimately selling these solutions to. This model has served you and companies like you for a very long time and enabled you to be very profitable. It's been a great model. But as we look at this model, what we'll also see is that this model is very linear, it's very flat. It is also designed, and it's that way because it's designed to support transactional sales. It is designed to support on-premise sales. On this model, what we'll also see is that your primary buyer for your services has been the CIO. So as we talk about the shifts that are going on in the market, what we're going to talk about now is the shift, but some of the challenges that that shift represents for companies such as yourselves. So as we look at the market today, what we're seeing is that, and this comes from IDC, 43%, IT hardware vendors are actually having to change their attitude. And what they're quickly realizing is that they have to adopt a cloud-first attitude. So within the next 3 years, IDC is telling us is that IT hardware vendors are going to have to get on board, and they're going to have to embrace the cloud as their first thought as they work with their customers. We also, from Forbes, have gotten some data that supports this. And basically what it says is that 25 to 30% of server sales are actually going to data centers that are managed by service providers. They're expecting this number to increase to 43% by the year 2017. Big number. 2017 is around the corner. So now we've got this number here, and this supports the shift. let's talk about competition, because competition doesn't go anywhere. There's always competition. So as we look at competition, what we're seeing is that your competitors are seeing hardware and software sales, they're dwindling. Boxes are dwindling. So they're looking to get ahead of this. They're looking to say, how can I evolve my business? How can I change what I'm doing so that I am still relevant to my customers? And about 10% of your competitors are expanding their products and services, or they're expanding their services. And they're adding things like consulting services, which is very meaningful to customers today as they're looking at the shift and as they're trying to adapt their business to the changes they see in the market. So 10% of your competitors are adding things like consulting services. They're already experiencing a benefit because they're experiencing a 44% margin increase. Huge, huge increase in margins. So now let's take a look at who your competitors are selling to, because they're selling to their customers. But oh, by the way, who else do you think they're targeting? They're targeting your customers, because odds are companies such as yours are not having the discussions about shifts, about changes that are going on in the market. So what this does is it creates opportunities for your competitors. So now let's talk about another shift that's going on in the market. And that shift is very simply technology is changing. So what we're finding is that we all know about the cloud. Microsoft trained us well. So let's take it to the cloud. So we see workloads moving to the cloud. We see security, which is a hot spot for almost every company. You see things in the news about companies getting hacked, things, credit card numbers. Security, hugely important and very concerning to most companies today. But it's being virtualized. It was on a box at one point. Now it's being virtualized. We see applications, servers, also being virtualized. Another shift that's going on is that we're seeing where decision making is no longer singly threaded through the CIO. It's moving to the CFO, and it's moving to the CMO. So if you're sitting here with the CIO, guess what? You're missing opportunities. You're missing revenue. Now, all of these things together, it's a lot. You've got shift in the market. You've got competition, which is getting smarter. You've got technology changing. You've got decision making, which is going on in different arms of the company. That's a lot. So while it can sound threatening, the really good news, Mr. Post, is that it creates tremendous opportunity. And that's really what I want us to focus on today. I want us to focus on the opportunity. So as you look at all this, I think the next question becomes, well, okay, what do I do? How do I get myself in a position where I can take advantage of all these things that are going on? So let's talk about that. Clearly, the first thing you've got to have is a set of solutions. So you actually need a comprehensive set of solutions. And then you're going to need some expertise. So you've got to have a knowledge base to talk to your customers about. You've got to have credibility when you talk to your customers. Well, Mr. Post, the I think absolutely awesome news is that I know of a company that can help you reinvent yourself. I always think when we're faced with all of these things that are going on, that we have to kind of take a page from one of my favorite pop stars, Madonna, and we have to reinvent ourselves. So I'm here to help you reinvent yourself. So today, let's talk about how CenturyLink can partner with you, how we can help you to reinvent yourself, how we can help you to keep your business relevant, how we can help you to take advantage of these shifts in the market so that you're able to add additional revenue streams by going in and talking to your customers about moving those workloads to the cloud, about virtualizing their security, and virtualizing those servers and applications. And oh, by the way, let's also talk about networking, which we know all your customers have. The really good news is CenturyLink is a Tier 1 network provider. And that's going to further differentiate you in the market by having a company that you're partnered with that can offer this. And now let's talk about the expertise, because we've completely got the solution sets covered. You know, we've got a lot of really smart guys that we can bring to a meeting, that we can get in a room to talk to you and your customer to help solve the very unique business problems that your customer has. What I'm talking about today, Mr. Post, is a plan and approach to help you as an organization generate additional revenue streams by having these discussions with your customer. We're talking about increasing your market share. We're talking about making you a player in the $4.1 trillion IT services market, which is growing by $80 billion a year. These are huge numbers, but this opportunity does not have to pass you by. So what do you say, Mr. Post? I'm excited, I'm ready, let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.